Yeah, so it's continuing, you know. So these are the ones. These are the wheat in the whole field of wheat and weeds, you know. And the whole field where the weeds actually rule, because Satan is the god of this world, you know. So the weeds rule these horrible people. You know, like you saw that thing, Mr. Potter in It's a Wonderful Life, you know. Don't give a crap about nobody, just power and owning everything, owning the world, you know. No heart, no human heart, no fleshly heart. It's a stone, heart of stone, you know. And there's worse, and since they're perverted, they try to pervert everyone else. That's why all of this garbage goes out on the media, you know, trying to spread all their perversion, because they want to pervert people, because they are perverted, truly perverted, you know. Because why? Because they're pleasing their god Satan. He likes that perversion, and he wants to pervert the whole world to bring everybody down into Gehenna with him, you know. So yeah, the sheep and the goats haven't been divided yet. When you see that abomination of desolation standing in the holy place where it ought not, then you know, man, you got to flee. And you ain't going to be a part of that garbage, you know. And those that have some goodness in them, they can't be a part of it, you see. So this is when the sheep and the goats are divided. And they're all growing now together, and they're all being watered by information from the internet. The truth is coming out, you know. So when you hear of pedophilia up in high places, some people are disgusted about that, man. They hate corruption. They want to root it out. Other people say, well, I don't care. I don't believe that's a conspiracy theories. You know, even when all the evidence is right in front of their eyes, they'll still deny it. These are the ones that go off into the darkness of eternal destruction. Those that seek the truth, you know. Forget about religion. Those that seek the truth. Jesus Christ said, I came in this world to bear witness to the truth. And everyone that is on the side of the truth listens to my voice. You know, so those that don't care about the truth, those that cozy up to all the perversion and murder, they're going to go down with the devil. But the sheep are being watered now by the truth, and it's coming out on the internet. The internet is actually a good thing that God is using now to enlighten people, to make knowledge abundant in the earth. Many will rove, and knowledge will become abundant, and it's becoming abundant now. All the secrets and the evil things, that's all coming out. And you that have goodness, don't be afraid. This is the time where you're supposed to shine, man. Because it's coming out, you know. This is the judgment, for light is coming to the world, but men have preferred darkness because their deeds were evil. For he that doeth evil does not come to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. But he that works righteousness comes to the light, that his works may be made manifest, that they are wrought in God. So don't be a silent, you know, preacher. Be a preacher that does what he can all the time to reach people, you know, with the word of God. You know, because that's what's lacking in the world, is the true knowledge of God. You know, they're unrevealing a lot of all this whole organization of corruption. It's all being revealed, you know. Little by little, everybody's going to see exactly what it is. And when they come down with it, you know, it's really going to be seen. See, they're not going to keep any secrets anymore. You know, when everything is known, they say, oh, the jig is up. Well, we're going to tell them, we're going to just come down with it. With this new world order and this police state demonic control, it's all going to come down. Satan is the author of it. It's not just them. It's not the men. They're under the devil's rulership. And it's when the devil is hurled, cast out of heaven, that he will set up his kingdom on this earth for 42 months. And I've been trying to educate people. You know, people have taken pieces of it and try to start things of it, and they get lots of views and everything, you know, because the devil doesn't mind them so much because they got a lot of falsehood in there too. That's his way he operates, is to mix the false with the true, you know. So, but it's going to progress, you know, and then everything's going to be revealed, you know, and the man of sin shall be revealed, who sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, you know. Remember Paul told us, he says, don't be afraid of what anybody says. The day of the Lord will not come unless first there is a great falling away. Now that happened in the 60s, primarily, you know, where all people's senses were just turned upside down. Good is bad, bad is good, perversion is normal, you know. And that was a great falling away. You see, because the churches, they were all doing stuff because they're followers of men. But when it comes down to, when the metal hits the road, they all caved in. They all went with the new philosophy, satanic philosophy in the world. Only very few who knew their God were strong enough to do exploits and work for God, you know. And it was demonstrated that the faith they had in the 60s was not real, was not connected to God. It was more like just follow society. So they continue to follow society even when good became bad and bad became good, because they were not really true believers, you see. So this great falling away has happened, and that's why I, in my life, and I think everyone who's been alive that long has seen that our lives went from a place where we always had friends and a resting place, you know, a place where everything felt okay, until it was just kind of getting less and less and less and less, until there was no place, no resting place left. We'll have to live strange life where we have no rest, you know, from the wicked ones. There's not a place of refuge to go to, and in this world, you know. Jesus only promises that where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am in the midst. And it's hard to find another disciple of Jesus Christ. Even those that appear to be. Once you whittle it down and find out what they're really about. See, there's so much competition going on, you know. Jesus said, if you want to be the greatest, become the servant of all. See, I'm getting older now. When I was young, I didn't speak strongly enough, because I always consider, well, older people, they know more than I do, you know. But now that I'm older, I can speak finally. And you get young people that don't have any respect for older people, you know. Everything is backwards now. So what am I going to keep quiet till I die? No, I'm going to start speaking. And yeah, I spoke when I was younger, yeah. But I always thought, you know, like, you know, you're supposed to be respectful for older people and this kind of thing, you know. Yeah, it took a while, you know, sometimes to realize, you know, like what Paul said to Timothy, don't let anyone look down on your youth, you know. And I put up with a lot of crap, you know, for a long time from people that were beneath me. I'm not speaking about they were poor or at a lower class. I'm speaking about people that were in a bit high position, but in reality, they're beneath me. Because there's people that are like bullies, you know, spiritual bullies, you know, and they're perverted. Maybe they're pedophiles, but they walk around a suit and a tie like they're some big boss, you know. And the things that they hide, the things that they do in the darkness is incomprehensible. And yet they walk around protruding themselves like they're some kind of an overseer, an elder. You know, it's disgusting. And they don't treat the flock with tenderness. Yeah, rigid. Oh, you did this, we're gonna cut you off, man. And you haven't suffered enough. Well, the first one, like with fornication and all these other sexual sins and things, a young person, if they're not if they're not surrounded by wholesome family, wholesome people, they're going to seek for love somewhere. And where else but in a woman, which is a mistake, For the most part, I haven't found any, So to make it even harder on people when they're down, you see. That's the way they operate in these organizations. Instead of helping the poor sheep, they kick them down farther. And I became homeless, And I realized that was escaping this system. And then you're out, then they really come after you, Not all people, but there are some that really hate that you are escaping this system. And they send the police after you and all that. And they send people after you and they try to give you drugs and everything to make you even more vulnerable. But I knew at a very young age that I knew I had to escape this system, because that's really what it's all about, We're all under a system of mankind, and if you don't, they want everybody to play the game, as if we're blind mice running in a little maze that they've created for us, They pay farmers not to produce crops, when there's an abundance, because they want to keep everybody working, everybody busy. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people would know what to do with themselves, So God is over the kings of the earth, Paul mentioned that. God, that actually the God of the Holy Bible, the Creator, they're limited in what they can do, you see. That's why Jesus told the Pilate, he says, you could do nothing against me unless it was given to you from above. That's what I'm talking about. In judgment, and what God can do for his people in that last video I made. They have no power over you if God is for you. You can speak, you can do Christian work. That may be evil to them. They don't like that. But in God's sight, that's pleasing to him for you to do his work. So you have to have more faith, Faith the size of a mustard seed. Do you have enough faith to follow Jesus Christ? To sell what you have and give alms? I don't recommend that for everybody, You have to know what's coming, and you have to be prepared, especially for women. I don't recommend that so much, but for men that are trying to be disciples of Jesus Christ, amen, God says, try me out, test me out, and see if I will not open the floodgates of heaven to you, so that you won't even have space enough to in other words, you will have much more than you need if you try me out. But people are afraid, and they don't ask God, and they end up with nothing. Do you want to end up with nothing? Or do you want to end up with something? You have to have strong faith, and you have to be active, because God doesn't like lazy people. He doesn't like people who he has given talents to and they bury it. He doesn't like laziness. So you have to work at your spiritual life, Okay, that's about it for today. I'm going to turn it off right now. I hope you understand what I'm talking about, man. You've got to preach the Word of God in any way you can. Any idea you can. Anything that comes up in your mind. You've got to do that. Paul says, woe unto me if I did not preach the good news. You have got to. Whether willingly or unwillingly, you have got to. That's your commission from Jesus Christ. That's your assignment he has given you. Don't be lax and don't lay off on that.